Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Writes, books or stories or articles or the like, professionally, for pay. A person who is able to write and has written something. Someone who originates or causes or initiates something. Writes, books or stories or articles or the like, professionally, for pay. Be the author of. She authored this play. A person who communicates with others. A person who can read and write. Knowledgeable and educated in one or several fields. Computer literate. Versed in literature, dealing with literature. Able to read and write. A person who can read and write. A programmer who breaks into computer systems in order to steal or change or destroy information as a form of cyberterrorism. A genre of fast-paced science fiction involving oppressive futuristic computerized societies. A writer of science fiction set in a lawless subculture of an oppressive society dominated by computer technology. A writer of a draft. Someone who keeps a diary or journal. A writer for newspapers and magazines. Someone who writes plays. One who makes abstracts or summarizes information. A person who writes the words for songs. A person who writes the words for songs. Haunt like a ghost. Pursue. Write for someone else. How many books have you ghostwritten so far? A suggestion of some quality. He detected a ghost of a smile on her face. A mental representation of some haunting experience. He looked like he had seen a ghost. A writer who gives the credit of authorship to someone else. Move like a ghost. The masked men ghosted across the moonlit yard. The visible disembodied soul of a dead person. A writer who gives the credit of authorship to someone else. A writer who collaborates with others in writing something. Someone who writes comic material for public performers. A comedian who uses gags. Someone who writes comic material for public performers. Someone who writes comic material for public performers. Someone who writes plays. A speaker or writer who makes use of alliteration. Cough spasmodically. The patient with emphysema is hacking all day. An old or overworked horse. A car driven by a person whose job is to take passengers where they want to go in exchange for money. Cut with a hacking tool. Be able to manage or manage successfully. I can't hack it anymore. Significantly cut up a manuscript. A mediocre and disdained writer. Fix a computer program piecemeal until it works. I'm not very good at hacking, but I'll give it my best. One who works hard at boring tasks. A politician who belongs to a small clique that controls a political party for private rather than public ends. A horse kept for hire. A saddle horse used for transportation rather than sport, etc. A tool, as a hoe or pick or mattock, used for breaking up the surface of the soil. Cut away. He hacked his way through the forest. Kick on the arms. Kick on the shins. A mediocre and disdained writer. One who writes novels. A writer of folktales. A writer of poems. The term is usually reserved for writers of good poetry. A writer who composes rhymes. A maker of poor verses, usually used as terms of contempt for minor or inferior poets. A writer who composes rhymes. A maker of poor verses, usually used as terms of contempt for minor or inferior poets. A writer who argues in opposition to others, especially in theology. Of or involving dispute or controversy. A controversy, especially over a belief or dogma. A writer who argues in opposition to others, especially in theology. An actor who specializes in tragic roles. A writer, especially a playwright, who writes tragedies. A writer paid by the area of the copy.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.